Hey guys, EBPMAN here, and today we're talking about tempered glass screen protectors that are case-friendly for the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 and 10 Plus. We're going to do an install, we're going to do a demo, and we're going to see if the fingerprint sensor still works after installing the Whitestone dome glass. Let's get right to it. Now in this video, I'm going to show you how to upgrade the screen protector that came pre-built in your Samsung Galaxy Note 10 or 10 Plus to a tempered glass screen protector. Now on the channel, we've been reviewing for several years now the Whitestone dome glass, and I've become very proficient in these installs. So make sure that you watch this installation from beginning to end before attempting the actual install itself so that you make sure that you get it perfectly done. The other thing I'd like to ask you is help us grow by following us on Twitter and on Instagram. You see our handles on the bottom area here, and let's get right to the install.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the little bell icon to get notified when new videos become available.
Now before doing the installation, let's take a look at some of the highlighted points here on the packaging that is going to answer a lot of your questions. First, this version supports both the Note 10 Plus and the 10 Plus 5G. The second thing, it does support the ultrasonic fingerprint reader. The other thing that you have is that it's going to maintain the clarity of the screen. It's going to provide full coverage, and in my experience, it's been case friendly. And then it's going to be full filling. That means that you don't really have the center because it is a curved screen like some of the other screen protectors that you run into. Now the thing about this is that this does use a UV curing process, and it does require after you go through the setup to re-register your fingerprint. So make sure that you understand that and make sure that you have another way to log into your phone using your PIN. Now, again, the process is pretty simple. Everything that you need is included in the package, so let's get right to it. Now, as we take a look at everything that's in the box, one thing I want to highlight. I do have videos where I removed the tempered glass, so I'm going to include that in the little bubble that will pop up, as well as in the common area. I'm going to have an installation video that actually highlights removing it. So you can remove this without any damage whatsoever. Now, as we take a look at what's in the box, you do have a tray that you'll be using, two liquid opportunities. These are installation liquids. You only use one for each install, but if you do mess up the first one, you have a second one. You have a little package here that has alcohol wipes and miscellaneous things that we'll use. Here you have this little these tabs that are going to help make sure that you don't get any liquid in your speaker. You have USB-C, the UV light system, your tempered glass. You have this little mechanism here that's going to help you with the placement of the liquid, and you'll see how that works, and an instruction guide. Now, as part of the prep work for installing the tempered glass, you want to make sure that you're in a dust-free environment. And that's really hard to do in a home. So you want to make sure your fan is off. You want to make sure that your air is off. You want to make sure that there's nothing that's moving anything around, any kind of particles in your room or in your home. The second thing is you want to remove the film protector. And the film protector is here. And it's really easy to uninstall or to remove. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab on the corner, and you'll see how easy it's going to be to peel up. You just need some nails, and you grab it right here, and you'll see I'm lifting it now. Okay, so that's the film that was on there, right? Now what we're going to do is we're going to wipe off the screen. So anytime you put on a tempered glass screen protector or any screen protector whatsoever, you're going to want to wipe this thing down. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the cleaning process, and we're going to use the kit that was included. So we'll go ahead, open it up. And there's a series of wipes that we're going to basically use here. So we have these alcohol wipes that we'll use first, right? And then what we'll do is once we wiped it down, we're going to use these little, I'd say cloths to actually wipe it down after we do the alcohol wipe. So, and even if your phone is brand new, right, and you never use it, I've been using this Note, you still want to go through this process because it's going to be, again, the process to remove anything that could be on the screen that's going to prevent the screen from getting any kind of adhesion. So once we move that over, I'm going to take one of these. In my experience, you don't have to worry about these little pieces of microfiber towel, is what I'll call them. They don't really have lint, so they're really good about having that, so you don't have to worry about shaking them out or not. So all I'm doing is just wiping it down, making sure if there's anything on there that it's going to be off. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave this right on here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the tray in place. So I'm going to put the phone over to the side, leave that there. I'm going to start looking at the tray. So important stuff here with the tray. The tray does have some indicators. So you'll notice here it says speaker, right? So it has speaker, which means that the top of the speaker is going to be on this side. And the other thing that you'll notice is that it has kind of like this little key area right here where you're going to put, we're going to slide in a little tab. And then you have this area right here, which is going to have the liquid. So I'm going to take out both of these liquid vials, put them to the side. Don't need that. And the way this is going to work is we're going to put the top of our phone this way, and then the bottom of our phone goes this way. So the other thing I'm going to do is also turn off my phone because it's going to be getting some alerts and notifications, and I want to make sure that it doesn't move as it's in the tray. So let's go ahead and do that first. Now, once you have your phone in the tray, as you see here, what you're going to do is you're going to put this tab, the tabs that we have right here. And the way this works is that you're going to basically align it with the actual tray itself. So I'll lift this up for a second. You'll notice how I'm aligning it with the tray first, and then I'm bringing it down. See how that works right there? All it's doing is getting on the top. It's barely on it, right? So this is going to be your guide, and then it's going to cover it right here, because remember, the speaker for this phone is actually on the top, right? So you'll see that really closely. We'll leave that for a second so you will be able to zoom in that for a second. So all it does is it covers that piece right there. The other thing that I have is this little thing right here. You're going to see where this goes. I'm going to put it right here because we're going to be using that. Actually, it's going to go on this side. Now, one of the things I wanted to highlight as I was looking at an easier way to install this is, check this out. It's easier to put it on the tray first. So I'm going to move this to the side so I can show you what I'm doing. All you got to do is put it here in the tray like this, and it's a lot easier than trying to put it right there. So that's how I installed it. And now the next step is to go back, and I'm going to re-inspect my screen, make sure there isn't anything there. And it doesn't look like there's anything, but I'm just going to go over it one more time just to be on the safe side. See if I don't see anything there. Put it in an angle. All right, everything looks good. I'm going to take this top tray, put it right here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this here. All right. The next step is to take this and place it here. We're going to take this liquid. Now there's two parts to this. When you open this up, this is the part that's going to go here. Liquid is not going to come out. Only when you release this one will the liquid come out. So what I'm going to do is open it up. And what I'm going to do is now place it here. And then I'm going to open up the top. And now you're going to have some liquid come out. All right? So I'm just going to tilt it a little bit. Now in my experience, there's always a little bit that gets trapped inside. So by tilting it, it kind of allows that drop. You can see there's a drop coming out right there. So it allows that to happen. Now if you do get drops, let's say anywhere else on the screen of the phone, so I'm going to put this aside. If you get any drops anywhere and you find that they're not together, they're not in this one bubble, right? What you're going to want to do is bring them back together. So let me explain what that means. So if you have a bubble over here, all you'll do is you move this until it connects. You don't want any kind of splatter anywhere else. If you do, you are going to have a bubble. So make sure that if there's any liquid, it's all there. And if it's separated, all you have to do is moving the tray, guide the bubble around until it connects, and then bring it back to the same position. Now, one of the things I did is on purpose, I created a little bubble. You see how that little water bead is there, or the liquid bead? Watch what I'm going to do. This is what I was referring to. I'm going to move this over to it, and I'm going to absorb it, right? And then what I'm going to do is now bring it back. Okay? That's what you're going to want to do. You do not want to have any liquid anywhere. It has to be all together. So now the next step is I'm going to take the screen, and I'm going to remove the bottom of it, the bottom piece, and now I'm going to place it. And this is, I'm going to do an inspection once I do this. I want to make sure that everything looks good and it's in place. All right, so everything looks like it's nicely aligned. Now the next step is to take this new piece. This new piece is kind of like just an alignment tool. I know those of you who watch my videos, there are quite a few of you that may not get the installation right the first time, and they're expensive, so you want to get this right. So what you're going to do is you're going to basically stick this thing here, and then see this bubble mark that's right here? You want this liquid to be right where this bubble is. Now I've done this a lot, and I typically wouldn't use this, but since you may be using this for the very first time, I want to make sure that you know how to do it based on how the instructions are. So I'm going to place this here, right? And then I'm going to hold it here and bring it down. Okay? Now the goal is that this bubble that you have here is going to be here in the center. Once it gets to the center, you're going to release this tab. Again, this goes here, and then you release it. Watch. And I'm going to push some pressure over here. And you'll see that the water is moving, or not the water, the liquid is moving a bit. And we want it to get to that point. Mine may not be, my surface may not be 100% level, so I'm going to move it a little bit. Tilting it. And you'll notice that how it's almost in the center. And once it's there in the center, I want to remove it. Okay. So it will disperse. You're not going to remove this thing until kind of like the liquid is completely dispersed. And you're seeing how it's going to be even, right? And remember, the sides here are going to make sure that if there's any extra liquid, that liquid is being captured by the cotton right there. Notice how it's going on. If you're going to get a bubble, you're going to see it because it will be really, really clear. So you'll see how it's filling up all the way to the top. You want to make sure that all the corners are also really nice and full. And you see how it's moving over. So we'll give this a second just to go through. It probably takes, I don't know, about 30 seconds or so. So we'll let the video run and wait for this area here in the bottom to get completely covered. Now at least 20 seconds have passed since I allowed the liquid to disperse, and I just wanted to let you see what's going on. So notice how there are no light marks anywhere. So you can see all the edges. It looks like the liquid has been able to penetrate each one. And now the next step is to grab it by this piece here and lift away. So I'm going to go ahead and grab, don't push down, and just lift away. And you'll notice that again, everything looks nice. Now the next step in the process is to take the UV light, and we're going to cure the bottom first, and we're going to let it go through the curing process for 15 to 20 seconds. So all we're going to do is turn this on, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. All right, so now 15 seconds have passed, and we're going to take this UV light, we're going to remove it. I'm going to turn it off and turn it on again, but now I'm going to do the same thing for the top. So now 15 seconds have passed. I'm going to remove it, and now I'm going to remove it from the tray. Now removing it from the tray is a pretty simple process. All we'll do is we'll lift from one side like this, and it doesn't look like there was anything up. You can see right here that there was some overspill. That was about it. We'll put this over to the side here. What we'll do is I will lift this side up. All right, so that little speaker tab helped. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that from the top. And the next step is I'll check the bottom, see if there's any liquid. Nothing spilled, which is great. Put it back in place. And now I'm going to take another alcohol and I'm going to wipe it down. Notice I'm just getting the sides, making sure everything looks good. Doesn't look like there was anything there. So far, installation looks pretty flawless. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go another pass, right? We're going to do another pass, and this pass is going to be 60 seconds. I'm not pressing down hard, right? I'm just wiping it down. You can see how nice and clean that looks. Now we're going to do 60 seconds right here. Now the next step is to take and do the same curing on the bottom for 60 more. So now the 60 seconds have passed. We're going to do it one more time. So we're going to do a second pass on the top and a second pass on the bottom. All right, so now we've completed the process, and now let's take a look at the end product. So you can see here, no bubbles. I'm going to slowly put this in an angle. All right, we'll put it this way so you can see this too. See how clean that looks? Look at the top. Look at the bottom. You can see the side right there. And now what we'll do is we'll power it up to see what it looks like. Everything looks good. And again, you'll notice that the screen doesn't really come up all the way to the top, so this is what makes it case friendly. So because you get this gap that's going all the way around, and you notice on the bottom, there's at least, I would say, you can see how far my nail goes in. There's a real good gap there. So let me go ahead and log in. Look at how that looks. All right. Swipe. Feels just like glass. Well, it is glass, right? All right, now I've logged in. We're going to wait for the phone to start up. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to re-register our fingers. So I'm going to go into the settings area, And I expect that the fingerprint sensors are not going to really work, but we'll do a test just to see. So I'm going to go into fingerprints. I'm going to go ahead and put in my password. Right. And I'm going to do check fingerprints just so you can see. Uh-oh, look at that. It's recognizing them. All right, let's see if my index finger works. All right. Well, wouldn't you know it? Maybe we don't have to re-register it. All right, so next we're going to check and see if the fingerprints actually work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to power it up, and I'm going to press my finger here on the screen. And you notice with no registration, it's working. So I'm going to turn this on again, press. All right. The other thing I can do is just press on the screen, and it will unlock as well. I don't know if you knew that, but you can have your phone completely off and just press in the area that's going to have your finger, and it will unlock as well. All right, so it works. So if we go back to the screen and we look at the overall experience is spot on. Screen looks gorgeous. If I were to put this inside of a case, let's grab this case here that I have right here, and I'm going to just snap it into place. This is the cover case. We're going to see if this cover case is actually going to still be responsive to some of the features. We'll put it on top. It does, still works. And if we look at how case friendly it is, you'll notice that the screen protector doesn't even come to the corners here. So that's pretty good. So there you have it. So things to note. One, follow these instructions. You're not going to have any problems. Fingerprint sensors work without a problem. And then also, I still would recommend that you re-register. In my case, I didn't have to, but I don't know if that's going to happen for everybody. So let me know what you thought about this installation process, and if you're going to pick up a Whitestone dome glass. They are expensive, but they're definitely worth it. See you in the next one.